Hello everybody and welcome to my reviews. This one that I will be reviewing today is the Dermlite DL1 dermatoscope. For today I'm just showing you the equipment. To learn how to use it in more detail or to interpret what you see, do come along to one of our dermoscopy for absolute beginners courses at PCDS, or you can access that online. So this is the Dermlite DL1 dermatoscope, and as you can see it comes in lots of different parts. So we have this part here, which is the attachment for your phone. We have this here, which is the light source. And then we have three different accessories for it. So to turn this one on, it has a little button on the side, which you just click on and that turns on the light source, as you can see. Now this is slightly different to the other hybrid dermatoscopes in that to change between polarized and non-polarized modes, you need to use different accessories. So what you do is you just slip the accessory on like that and then click it. And I'm going to have to look through it to tell you whether this is polarized or non-polarized. And this one is actually a non-polarized. To switch it to the polarized one, I would then put this one on, this end piece on. And now when I turn it on, the light is slightly less bright. That's because the polarized filter takes out some of the light. And I'll double check. Yeah, that one is definitely the polarized light. This will then attach to the camera like that, attach to your phone adapter like that, which obviously will have a phone in it. Here's one I prepared earlier, and that one attaches onto it like that. And then you can just take your picture in the normal way through your phone. If you want to take a picture in polarized mode without using contact, so this is a fixed focus and you rest it on the skin. If you want to use it without using contact, for example, to see the vessels on the surface of something, then you would use this end attachment, which snaps on like this. And that again is a polarized attachment, but doesn't have the extra bit to rest against the skin. So you can just hold that a little way from the skin surface. Now, the only thing with this one is it's much harder to actually remove it from this bit. As you can see, I'm struggling to get it off. I'm just going to take it here to get it a bit more effort into it. So that's quite tricky to remove. These ones are much easier to come on and off. These ones will go on like that and slip off like that. The big disadvantage of having the removable bits though, is that if you're looking at the same lesion and you want to look at it in polarized and non-polarized modes, you're going to have difficulty doing that because you've got to actually take it apart in order to do so. So that's that one. There is no extra focusing needed on this. So this is just a fixed focus that rests against the skin. And so if you're someone who doesn't know what you're looking at and you're just using this to take photos to send off for advice, then this might be a reasonable option as a relatively low cost alternative to a proper hybrid dermatoscope. In terms of keeping the end plate clean, that's easy. It's fully enclosed. And so you can just wipe it with your stirette afterwards. But when you're removing them or storing them, obviously you can get dust behind the end plate. So when you store it, I would imagine that most of the time you're going to be storing it actually attached like that. So it's just this little piece here, in which case it's completely enclosed and it's not going to get dusty. But if it does get dusty, you are going to have to clean it. But this bit here is fully enclosed. So actually it's just a matter of wiping these areas just here. So that should be very straightforward. It doesn't have any disposable caps for hygiene purposes. So you could use a little piece of cling film over the top if you wanted to. And you don't need a small contact plate with this because it is quite small as it is. This is a 20mm or 2 centimetre end plate diameter, but you still get the 10 times magnification for your camera. The charger type that it uses is a micro USB, exactly the same as most of the mobile phones will be using, and you can just plug it in like that and charge it. And if you found it out of charge and you want to use it as you're going along, it will turn on with the charger plugged in, and that's quite a useful thing to be able to do. Now, clearly this is very small. This is easily handheld pocket size. This is one of the smallest dermatoscopes on the market. And so that is definitely an advantage to it. But because of the difficulty with switching between modes, and because it doesn't come with its own little package, so it doesn't come in with a case to hold it in that will hold all the different bits together, I think it's something that might be a bit fiddly to use and tricky to use. And so I suspect that most people would end up using just the polarized adapter for it and then losing the other bits, quite frankly. So it's one to consider. It's definitely a lower cost option. But I think that because it's so fiddly to change between polarized and non-polarized modes, it's one that I wouldn't be recommending wholeheartedly if you're someone who wants to be using both modes on a regular basis. So this was the Dermlite DL1, and as I said before, I'm just showing the equipment for now. To learn how to use it, please visit the PCDS website at pcds.org.uk.